So here I'm setting up the machine for sewing some fancy stitches. I've already done the sleeves, and I'm going to do a simpler version on the placket on the front. So I've just been switching between straight stitch plate and the zigzag plate as I was sewing the front of the shirts before. And I've got bobbin thread in the bottom and embroidery thread in the top. And what we're going to be doing is, yes, it's a cam. So one moment. So that's the middle of the sleeve, and when you're doing a single layer you need a stabilizer. That's water soluble stabilizer, but you can see that's down the middle of the sleeve and that'll look really nice. But I'm going to do a simplified version down the front placket. I'm only going to do the outside ribbon, which is cam 11, so I'm going to put that in now. On, and then we set it to B, and then to special. Okay, and then what we do need to do is test out that all the tensions, usually you have to loosen the top tension just a wee bit, and make sure that this is set for minimal. So let's see what we get going here. Okay, so the bobbin tension on the bottom looks like 0, so I must have threaded that wrong. It's weird. Yeah, so it's quite a lot tighter. Loosen it just a tingy bit. Because it's a balancing act here, because you don't want it too loose, and you don't want it too tight, obviously, but too tight will stitch perfectly on the top, but it'll pucker your fabric, so you definitely don't want that. So let's see what we've got here. Oops, and I need to raise the stitch width up to 5. Okay, let's see how these look now. Is puckering the fabric a bit, so I think I might need to put stabilizer even still under the multiple layers, which I didn't think I would need to, but I will put stabilizer under just to be sure I don't get puckering. Okay, so here we have our waterproof stabilizer, the front of the shirt, and we're sewing this way down. Probably just as easy, it doesn't make a difference really. So we'll put a couple pins in just to keep the stabilizer from going anywhere. Alright, so okay, off we go. Let's see how this works. So what I'm doing is I'm using the arrow on the center of the foot, which, oops, wrong way, I'll zoom in here. So there's the arrow right there, the line, and then lining it up with the center of my top stitching from before. And then I know the center of the pattern will be following along the whole way down. Fold this in a bit, and off we go. So it's wanting to twist the fabric slightly, so I've got to keep it straight so the fabric feeds straight. But the result, as you can see, is perfect. But you have to fight with it a bit because it's sewing through lots of layers and it's wanting to pucker and twist. So you definitely need to make sure your fabric is held perfectly flat and straight so the machine feeds it straight. Perfect. So there's the final stitch. So that means when I start at the top, we know we're starting on the first stitch here. So we should, all being well, line that up just above there and should equal. No, not perfectly, which it did, I'm glad to say. Okay, off we go. So there are the results, which is, that looks really nice. So you can see you can get out a bit, but if you hold on to the fabric, you can drag it back in the sink, but in reality it doesn't matter, it looks nice. And then what will happen is, because this is the left side, for a men's shirt, the buttons will go down the middle. Oops, the buttons will go down there in the middle of that, which look really good. I'm making sure to go down straight down the center of the placket here with this paisley pattern, and then I will adjust to the next part, which is the cross stitch. see, really good job the whole way along. So now we're going to do the cross stitch pattern from the top. So the cross stitch pattern is 24. So what we need to do is run a test first to make sure how, if I remember how it lines up. If I remember correctly, you put the foot in the middle of the paisley type. Now, so that's pretty good and balanced, so we can go there. So the cross stitch pattern, I need to, I'll go back to stitch 1. Whoop. Not on a steady table here. In this case, I am having to center the cross stitch pattern on a stitching line, so I need to know where it lines up. I have a feeling it's off to the center, it's offside, yes. Whoops. Yeah, so it's on the very right side of the foot. Okay, so if I want it to line up on that, I have to put the stitching in fact, it's better if I want the best results, we just put to line the stitching up with the right side of the foot and then put the cross stitch to the left of the stitching line, and that'll work very well. Yeah, I'll do that. Speed down and let it do its own thing. One thing I really like about the Husqvarna Viking is you can use the stop button in conjunction with the foot. So that means that you can just use the speed controller pedal foot as a brake. You just hit it and it stops immediately. So it gives you more control rather than trying to farce around trying to find the button on the front of the machine, which I find it not as good. So these are lots of reversing patterns, so I don't tend to do them as high speed as I could. Just so that's probably a bit, for me, yes, you can sew them faster, but it's to make sure they're always perfect. I don't want to go too fast on this machine. You're likely to get thread jams and thread breakage. Pain to try and line up the pattern again, so I'd rather just finish it at a slower speed and get perfect results. So now that we're coming to the end, this is when I like the fact that I can just stomp on the pedal and stop it when it's time. So we're coming right near the end, so I just put it in. Now I can control it and select the last few stitches that I want to finish. Perfect. Done. Okay. Now for the last row, what I have to do is line up the center line of the foot with the stitching line here, and it will put the cross point in here, just to the right of that line. So let's see how we do. Start slow so that I can see that it's going where I expect it to. Feeding right as well. Yeah, that looks good, so I should just press go and off it, let the machine do its own thing. And just keep the fabric from twisting. You can see the value of this plastic so easy because it gives you so much more support than just the small free arm when you're doing stuff like this. And the sewing table is really good. And it's only a small one, but you can get a much bigger one. This one is just perfect for sleeves and stuff. Ensure the fabric's supported and doesn't twist. I've got the embroidery needle on this. Make sure it can puncture through all those layers without pulling any threads. It seems to be working very well. Plus with the fabric the wash away stabilizer. Okay, we're coming near the end, so I can stomp on the pedal to bring them ready. There we go. Finish that up. Perfect. And whoops, can zoom out now, and you can see what we've got here. Really nice button placket, and obviously this washaway stabilizer will disappear, so you won't see that. But the buttons will be boom, 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 boom along there and look really smart. And it's American style button placket. Even in the back side looks very neat and tidy.